Frank L. White was a black chef whose image became one of the most recognized symbols in American food history, the face of cream of wheat. However, the story behind this image is not as simple as it may seem. It is a tale intertwined with racial stereotypes, the exploitation of black imagery in advertising, and the erasure of real-life individuals behind these portrayals. Frank L. White was born around 1867 in Barbados, part of the British Caribbean. Like many black immigrants seeking better opportunities, he moved to the United States in 1875. By 1890, he had become a naturalized U.S. citizen and worked as a professional chef in various locations, including restaurants, railroads, and steamships. Eventually, White settled in Leslie, Michigan, where he owned and operated a restaurant called Holly House. Known for his culinary skills, he built a respectable name in his community. However, his claim to national fame came not from his cooking, but from an image that would be used for decades in advertising. In the early 1900s, Cream of Wheat, a popular breakfast porridge brand, began using a smiling black chef on its packaging. The image was originally based on a photograph taken around 1900 of a real black chef working in a Chicago restaurant, though the company did not record his name. For years, the identity of the man on the packaging remained uncertain. However, Frank L. White claimed to be the model for this image, and his community in Leslie, Michigan, widely supported this belief. His obituary in 1938 even referenced this, stating that he had posed for an advertisement of a well-known breakfast food. When Cream of Wheat introduced its chef mascot, the image was part of a broader trend in advertising that used black figures to promote food products. Many of these depictions relied on racial stereotypes that reinforced ideas of black servitude. The Cream of Wheat chef was originally named Rastus, a derogatory term often used for black men in minstrel shows and racist caricatures. At the time, advertising heavily leaned on the idea of the happy servant trope, an image that comforted white consumers while reinforcing a racial hierarchy. Alongside figures like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, the Cream of Wheat chef represented a black person serving food with a warm smile, reinforcing the idea that black people were naturally content in subservient roles. Despite this troubling context, the image believed to be based on Frank L. White became iconic, appearing on Cream of Wheat products for more than a century. Frank L. White passed away on February 15, 1938, in Leslie, Michigan. Though his face had been seen by millions, his own story was largely forgotten. He was buried in an unmarked grave in Woodlawn Cemetery in Leslie, leaving no official recognition of his role in American advertising history. It wasn't until 2007, nearly 70 years after his death, that a granite headstone was finally placed at his burial site. The headstone featured an engraving of the Cream of Wheat chef, officially linking White to the iconic image. This was a long overdue recognition of his legacy. By the 21st century, racial stereotypes in advertising came under increasing scrutiny. In 2020, amid growing discussions about systemic racism and the impact of stereotypical branding, B&G Foods, the company that owns Cream of Wheat, announced that they would remove the chef's image from their packaging. The company stated that they wanted to ensure the brand does not inadvertently contribute to systemic racism. Thus, after more than a century, the face that had been associated with Cream of Wheat was retired. Frank L. White's story is one of forgotten history and racial representation in advertising. His face was used to sell millions of boxes of cereal, yet his own name was nearly erased from history. His story reminds us of how black individuals were often used in branding without recognition or compensation. Though the Cream of Wheat chef is no longer featured on the packaging, the story of Frank L. White and the historical context of his image remain an important part of black history. His legacy stands as a testament to the complex history of race, commerce, and representation in America. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more untold Black history stories.